Good, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Akbar Salihu, and I'm here to present about the impact of abuse and neglect on Almajiri pupils and people's perception on scraping out the Almajiri system of education, the northeastern Nigeria as a case study. So, we'll go in the introduction. Abuse and neglect have a long-term effect on a child's growth and development, leading to a number of psychiatric illnesses later in life. Child that experience abuse or neglect in childhood will not have the experience or impact of good parenting, leading to exposure of his or her child to also a form of abuse or neglect. That is, for the child that has had a very bad parenting at the beginning, when growing up, is subject to cause the same impact on his own children too, and that will make the cycle of abuse and neglect to continue. So there was a national health bill that was signed in Nigeria December 2014 for children less than 5 years and the vulnerable part of the population to access free healthcare services, such as the pregnant mothers. But the Almajiris are not having access to this benefit as to the services because they lack a responsible adult in their life. Whenever they fall sick, they either go around begging for help or remain indoor for the natural history of disease to take its own course. So this project was carried out to find a solution to such a problem, also to see the perception of the population on possibility of scraping out the Almajiri system of education. Because from the census that was carried out around 2010, we have almost around 7 million Almajiri pupils that are roaming around the streets in the whole country, and all these children don't have a good place to sleep or very good food to eat or whatsoever. So that's what made me took the interest in Almajiri system of education and see whether there could be a way forward for these children. And then the materials and method now. So the study area, northeastern part of Nigeria, which is comprising of about 6 states, which are Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe states. This region is mostly known for the production of crops and livestock, which contributes directly to the economy of the country. And the region is also densely populated as compared to the southern region of the country. And the major tribes are Hausa and Fulani, and are largely Muslims who practice Almajiri system of education, because the Almajiri system of education is being seen as a way of Islamic system of education, even though there has been some little alteration that made it not suitable for the generation. And we have about 35 Almajiri model schools which are under construction, with about 21 completed during this research work. This is the map of the country, as we can see. The Borno, Yobe, Bauchi, Taraba, Adamawa with Gombe in the central. So the study population now. All the people of the northeastern Nigeria that are aged 18 years and above during the period of the study. And the duration of the study took around 8 weeks to complete. The sampling method that was used is a multi-stage sampling. This is because the population in question is spread over a wide area. And in the first stage, 3 states were randomly selected by balloting at the regional level, and those selected are Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. In the second stage, 1 local government was randomly selected by balloting at each of the state level, where Maiduguri Metropolitan Council from Borno State, Mubi from Adamawa, and Potiskum from Yobe State were chosen. And then in the third stage, 2 districts were randomly selected by balloting at each of the local government level. So we have a total of 6 districts in total. In the fourth stage, 2 villages or towns were randomly selected by balloting at each of the district level also, so that it makes up 12 number of villages or towns, and which leads to the 5th stage, where we had 2 words were selected in each of the selected village given, also a total of 24 words. And in the 24 selected words, 33 questionnaires was administered per number of houses in the ward, house to house spacing also taken into consideration. The sampling size for the population above The size of the population above is above 50,000, so the sample size was using the concurrence formula to determine was the n is equals to z squared pd all over d square, where the n is the minimum number of samples. So after the calculation, taking into consideration that the proportion of persons aged 18 and above, we have around approximately 600.25. But because to compensate for non-responses and poorly completed questionnaire and some that will be lost, so we use the NF factor to multiply 100% all over 100 minus R% to increase the sample size so that the precision of the study shall not be jeopardized. The total number which we came up with at last was about 800 questionnaires that were used, and the study tool, the questionnaire, was constructed in a simple language, and it consists of both open and close-ended questions, and it is subdivided into 4 sections, A to D. The first section, which is A, sought information about the social demographic variable. Name was excluded for biodata confidentiality. The second section was sought information about the neglect and abuse, and then the third section sought out information about the present intervention done by the government to see if there has a positive impact or not. And the last section, but not the least, which sought out information to see the effect of the system on possibility of scraping it out after. So participants will be given a questionnaire to fill, an explanation was given to them during the interview on things that was not clear to them, and it consists of about 21 questions. So retesting was also done to remove bias and to understand the language very well, and then the collection of data was a primary source of data, and the analysis collected was using a Microsoft Excel. A descriptive statistical methods like frequency distribution tables and sample percentages were used. So from the results, we got about 70.6% male and about 29.4% female distribution. The distribution of the educational level among the respondents in northern Nigeria was between the secondary school was having about 50%, which is the highest, then followed by the primary school, as most of the populace in this area don't usually engage much into tertiary education. It's part of the country that is having the lowest educational level standard, and the age distribution, about 36 of the percent were just between the age of 25 and 34, while about 32% were between the age of 35 and 44. The least were the geriatric age of 65 and above. The level of income, which also determines a great role in observing whether the person will be in favor or not of the Almajiri system of education, was taken into consideration, as those with the highest number of income were just around 15%, and those with the least were about 22.9%. So the majority fall between 18,000 naira to less than 50,000 naira. That's the minimum wage and a little bit above it alone, which has about 41.1%. So the parameters that were checked, first off, was the question of whether they've ever seen a case of non-accidental injury afflicted on Almajiri pupil. In this one, we're trying to establish if anyone has ever seen a case of abuse or neglect, and almost 90% said yes. And the following question was if they have ever seen a case of sexual assault or fondling of a young Almajiri for sexual stimulation and gratification of adult perpetrator, where also again the greatest percentage goes for yes, about 55%. And then we think whether the Almajiris are left to provide their own food, shelter, light and clothing, that is the necessity of life, And again, greater percentage of the population said yes, which means these children are really under stress. They provide almost everything for themselves. And then it was then asked to see if they know whose responsibility is to take care of this Almajiri pupil. Greater percentage said it's the parents that are supposed to take care of these children, as most of their children are less than between the age of 15 to 5 years at most into that kind of educational system. They are still minors and they are being left alone to provide for themselves. So most say it's the parents that are supposed to take care of them, but we still have by the government.
Yeah, Mr. Akbar. Sorry, Mr. Akbar.
Yes.
Mr. Akbar, sorry for interrupting. Still 2 more minutes for your presentation, please.
Okay. So when we now ask about the government intervention, whether the government should continue with the Almajiri school, great percentage of the people said yes, they should continue, about 62%. And we say, is the Almajiri model school having adequate and properly maintained? No, most of them said no, more than 50%. So it's like the population is almost going against the Almajiri system. So from discussion and conclusion, it can be seen that men are more among the respondents than men, because women from the Muslim communities are usually restricted from participating in activities unless authorized by their husband. And the educational level is poor, because free education usually stops at secondary school, and that is why highest number of our respondents were just secondary school graduates. The level of income is also low compared to marital status. That may also have added to the increase in Almajiri on the streets. From the result of each, about 90% of the people were subjected to a form of abuse or neglect, and they say almost every Almajiri must have been abused one time or the other in their life. And this shows the reason why they always live in fear, which ultimately affects their development. The result shows about 68 to almost 69% are being neglected, and it's also a responsibility of the parents to take care of these children, but these children are being left to wander alone. These children need care, and most of that age they can be left to start their life independently. It's so difficult. So on the issue of government intervention, it has reduced the number of populace roaming the streets, but it's not up to par, as the students' needs are still not being catered for. The Almajiri system, which was meant for Islamic morals and value, is no longer achieving its aim. They also have no formal place in the country's system of government after graduating, and majority of the respondents supported closing down of such system of education and being incorporated into the modern system of education. So this acknowledgement, where I acknowledge my school and then my family. Thank you very much for listening.